Waiting. Amina's in. Our favourite Amina is in. Oh, it is lovely. What can I do if you are not in my life, Amina? Are you well?
So good to see you. I'm like just come back from tennis. I play tennis every Friday morning. So yeah, good way to start the day.
Oh, it is lovely to see you. And your hair is aspirational for me. Can I just put that up there? Mine's just like a sad little stub of a bun, and yours is like a unicorn. That's what I'm aiming for. I want to live long enough so I can do that, Amina. Oh, she's ignoring me now. She's gone, well, you know, it's my hair. You can't do that. Okay.
You're so funny.
You're the best, my darling. I'm so thrilled to see you. So, look, all these glamorous people are back. Queen Bess is back and not in hospital, for which we are very relieved, Queen Bess.
My kid is still in hospital, but I've got a break at the moment.
And so, darling, have the break with us. So we are so happy to see you all. The legendary Susan is joining us. Those of you that saw the reading group, look, Megan, Susan's back. How excited are you? Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, really? So, colleagues, we're excited to see you. Just so you know, Paul is doing weirder stuff than normal. Most of you know Paul and I do weird stuff. That's what our academic job is. And Paul is about to record while writing while recording in Write Club. So this will be a major moment and very, very exciting. So Damien's in the house and Vita's back. Sarah's in. Louise is in. Queen Carol, oh, looking pink and beautiful, is in. Joanna's in. Lovely to see you. Queen Mary's back. Beautiful Susan. Maeve, Jane, who we're all just a bit in love with, is back. Anastasia is here, and the Baxter. Jamie Quinton is here, but not here because he's deep and mythical. So, colleagues, let's go for it. And lovely Dina's in. We love you, Dina. Good morning, Dina. Colleagues, let's write hard for 29 minutes. Let's do this. Let's really create some magic. Let's change the world. Let's do it. See you in 29 minutes. Woo! Thanks, Bess.
Stretch.
Do this. Let's go for it. last minute, colleagues. And colleagues, we are finished. Ooh. Ooh. And Jane is joining us. We'll go straight to Jane P. Is our other beautiful Jane on? We've got only one Jane. There can be only one. Jane. What, Jane, what were you working on, my darling? Oh, yeah. I can see it. You're shaking out of it. What were you working on, darling?
I actually have some urgent admin tasks to do to make sure that I can stay here in Australia to submit my thesis. So, yeah, that's quite intense, and I have to do that. But while doing that, I've been thinking about the repetition of all that process that I've been doing that for the last 5 years. So, yeah, and that will link to end times as well, because thanks to you, usually with last year PhD students, we don't have time for anything. Like Taras, I say no to everything. But then when you mention the names, and I'm very interested because in Vietnam, coming back to the river, is spiral. History is spiral. It's continuing. It's not like the end of the river and that's the end, but it won't be repeated. And the confluence or the big change will happen when three things happen. That is the greed, the hatred, and the delusion. That's when there's big change. And I could see all of that in the end times. So all the scientifics, all the math calculations is actually just the confirmation when all of that three things happen and we see changes in history. So that's happening to me.
So, do you ever notice whenever Jane speaks, sort of a microphone drop follows her? It's like, you know, out. Can I just say, Jane, let me just, so firstly, you are just changing our lives. My brain is sharper and more developed since I met you. But can I say, Jane, can I just apologize on behalf of Australians everywhere that you're having to spend 1 second of your life doing weird administrative stuff to stay here? We are a lucky nation that someone as magnificent as you spent some time with us. So if I can do anything, if you need whatever administrative thing, if it's just an administrative ticker box, do it and stay here. But if you need anything like references from like a person with a title, I don't know how I got the title, but if the title helps, use it. Yeah. Love you, Jane.
Definitely. Thank you.
You're the best in the universe. And Damien, hashtag no pressure, mate. No rivers this week, Damien. I missed you terribly. What were you working on this week, Damien? I get so excited every week to hear what you're working on.
Slightly raunchy. I've been writing about the development of on-screen portrayals of gay sex in Australian television drama and comparisons to straight sex and things that were seen as revolutionary, say in 2001, and how tame they were.
Isn't that and how far back are you going, Damien?
So it's part of my charting of queer representations on Aussie TV since 2000. So starting with 2000 and going forward, a lot of it's been handled prior to then. So that all that stuff in the 1970s that was incredibly progressive has got a lot written about it. So I'm continuing that work.
Oh, that's because I was just sort of thinking, I went straight to The Prisoner, you know, the original
Yes.
Bee, Queen Bee. Most of us wanted to be Queen Bee, right? So yeah, wow. Also, Damien, that's fantastic. And I'll ask in generalities rather than specificities, but are there major differences between the presentation of how a coupling occurs, straight and gay? Are there actual iconographic differences?
Yes, definitely. I refer to it as cinematographic censorship. The person goes down and the camera pans up, as this kind of way of avoiding. Whereas when you see straight sex, it's often, you know, the audience gets to see it, or it cuts to black and then you see them afterwards in gay sex. Whereas straight sex, they'll often show, you know, if the time slot's right.
That is just okay. Well, my life is getting changed today. So moving from Jane to Damien, this is why we are scholars, colleagues. This is why a comprehensive university matters. Damien wouldn't trade you for quids. Oh, now should we go to the very calming Carol in her very calming coral? Carol, what were you working on this week, you superstar?
Yeah, I've been having a great time actually doing my ethics. So which has completely astounded me that I'm having such a good time considering the questions and really exploring what partnerships agreements look like and the complexity of what I'm doing with urban homelessness and older Aboriginal women. And it's got me to a point that I'm working with a different organisation at the moment on what that partnership agreement will look like. It's really exciting.
See, this is amazing. We were actually in the digital office hours, Carol, we were talking about ethics. So that's why Paul went, we're back there again.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fantastic. But it's a great conversation about how I was sort of almost talking about the punitive nature of ethics because I'm an old goth, right? And Carol, actually, you've demonstrated it is ontologically enabling to the project.
Absolutely. And it's really expanding my thinking about what I'm doing and why. Even thinking what are my benefits and how do I really describe those to help share that understanding with others to come in and join the journey.
Oh, right. Well, that's my life again. Is anyone else feeling a bit of pressure now? I'm sort of feeling like, you know, I was just working with Harold Innes's master's thesis from 1918. I'm just an embarrassment to humanity. But of course, well, should we deal, Kylie, with the big innovator? So should we find out what the hell happened with Paul? Should we find out, Kyles? So Paul, how did the recording of the recording of the recording of the recording of the recording go?
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. So I was recording a podcast lecture for master's students at my university, looking at how people's lenses influence performance art. So looking at bias and the lens and what that means in 2023. So it's an introductory lecture to go with a seminar. So looking at their own biases, unconscious or conscious.
Wow. And did you find the positionality of the camera and the camera and the camera and the camera? Did that change what you did, Paul?
No, but again, what I will do is I took some video on my phone and I'll put that within the podcast so the students can see where I recorded it, the environment, the gestures, and so it gives a location.
That is fantastic. Oh, Paul, legendary. And again, once more, you're doing that work on lens. Of course, I'm doing the Harold Innes stuff on bias of communication. So you and I have to stop meeting like this.
Bizarre.
Again, I know I say this to you all the time, Paul, but I feel so privileged that at this point of our lives, I've had a chance to meet you and work with you. You've really transformed everything I do. Thank you, Paul. You're amazing.
Ditto. No, ditto. You're pushing me every day.
Bloody hell, mate, amazing. And so let's go to our favourite redhead in the universe, Queen Kylie. Now, Kyles, you were in the sort of pedantic zone last week. You were there and we were with you, but are we still there or did we have excitement?
We had excitement again going back to the office hours. You mentioned about the prelude. Is that? Get the word out. Prologue. Yeah, and basically the positionality of where I've come from and how do I get that in the thesis and having that before I thought, am I going to push the envelope with these engineering people or do I just shove it into the methodology section? So I just wrote it. I don't know where it sits yet, but wrote that bit about where I've come from, why I got to this topic, what drove it.
Now, Kyles, I can actually bizarrely help you with this rather than me just being your mate going, go, Kylie. I can actually help you with this. Tomorrow morning, I'm recording a chapter for an audiobook on the Three Monkeys. Those who remember the Three Monkeys. I finally got the audiobook of that, nearly finished it. But tomorrow morning, I'm recording the second last chapter, I think, on positionality. So how about I record that and Secret Squirrel send that to you through a Secret Squirrel location? And I'm saying that because in the research I've done on positionality, there's a lot of quant work there. So quant responses to positionality. So engineers, medical scientists saying, unless we acknowledge positionality, we are not being transparent in our repeatability.
Yes, yes, that's great.
All right, well, that'll focus my mind at 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. I've got to do it for Kylie. Come on, Kylie, you're a legend. Well, put it at the start, Kyles. Courage.
I can always change it if they chuck it back at me, I'm sure. Let's push the envelope.
They won't. They're engineers. They're interested in pushing stuff. They're interested in concrete,
They'll just
pushing stuff.
They'll just be looking at the pictures.
Laughing too much. Kylie, you're the best. So you've given me homework. I've written that down. So got that for you tomorrow morning. Queen Kirsty in her very glamorous lifestyle location. How were you going this week? What were you writing on, darling?
I'm going really well. I was just addressing feedback in a couple of sections of my first article. So that's really interesting too. I feel I'm slowly starting to get the difference between writing a thesis and an article and you know, narrow that down, which was really difficult for me to start with. But I want to share something. I went to a conference last week at UniSC, a Create and Collaborate conference, and one of the speakers said, when it comes to research, the paths are many and messy, but the romance of research is captivating. And do you know, when she said that, I thought of this group. So I just want to thank everybody, because I think from being a part of this group at this time, and with a few really huge things happening in my life as well, not only just a PhD, I think the romance of research has become very captivating for me, and I'm still so passionate about my topic, but it is because of the things we share here, as well as, you know, some other stuff happening. So thank you, everybody.
We love you, Kirsty. We love you. And what an incredible statement to share with us. And can I say, Kirsty, it does make you sort of proud to be alive and proud to be a scholar and proud to be researching. I think that every week, but we're bloody proud of you. And look, should we go to our fabulous Sarah? Hi, Sarah. I know it's a bit scary. Sarah, do you want to demute and just tell us what you're writing on? And we're so thrilled to see you.
Hi, Tara. This is my first Write Club. Very excited to be here. There's a few familiar faces here, so hi, everybody. Today I was writing a little section in my methodology chapter while I'm waiting for ethics approval, just talking about data collection and creating a case study database for my case study research. So I wrote more than what I thought, so I know more than what I think.
And look, it's amazing. 30 minutes of intensity is stunning. So Sarah, just because I'm fascinated by you and fascinated by this. So the methodology work you were doing, and I'm proud of you for doing this, because too often people throw the word case study out and not realize that there is a huge, 150 years of intellectual culture around the methodology of the case study. So how fantastic is that? So Sarah, that's what you're doing?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so I'm collecting multiple sources of evidence. It's nursing research looking into missed nursing care in acute care hospitals with, interviewing registered nurses. So we're going to be collecting, doing a questionnaire online, and I'm going to be interviewing nurses as well. So, and document analysis, just, why not?
It is just fantastic. Nurses and midwives are my favorite people in the universe, Sarah. So we're going to be very excited to hear the update on this. Brilliant. You are one and welcome, my darling. We're thrilled to see you, and we'll see you again. It's brilliant. Queen Bess, I was just about to go to you. So, darling, what were you working on, my gorgeous one?
Still tidying up. And it's starting to feel like it's coming together a little bit more. Still on the introduction, still working on the literature review. Haven't had a whole lot of time for that because I've been really heavily focused on this field work that I've had dropped in my lap. I am going. I have places to stay. I'm still looking for a few more places to stay. I'm hoping my kid's going to be well enough, and everyone's going to stay well enough for 6 weeks while I'm away. But actually I put my hand up because there's so many nurses here. I've realized I need to find out where records of the old hospitals in London are kept. Where would I look for that?
Well, I'm trying to think. You'd probably would you start at the British Library? I'd write straight to a British Library reference librarian.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I go to the British Library. They are the Jedi Knights of this planet. Paul, what do you think, brother?
Yeah, or the big medical universities, King's College, Imperial College London.
Yeah, this is specifically the records of Westminster Hospital, which is no longer there. It's opposite where the Abbey is still, because the earliest test groups for Girl Guides were run out of Westminster Hospital under the aegis of Agnes Baden-Powell and her group of British Red Cross there.
Bess, what I would definitely do, I would start with the British Library because they're some of the most brilliant people on the planet, and they'll be able to track for you because that archive would have gone somewhere else. And as Paul said, it might have gone to Imperial. It would have gone to another probably hospital archive. So they'll be able to tell you where that is if they don't have it, Bess.
I'll start with them then. Thank you very much.
You're the best, Bess, and all my love to your little person too. I hope it all works out okay.
We're getting there. I think we've got hopefully not more than 6 months of treatment for functional neurological disorder. This, by the way, guys, is what abuse in schools can do to kids.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a thing. I'm just starting to track research on that, Bess. It's destroying people's lives. You are the best, Queen Bess. Should we go to the other person besides Queen Bess that transforms us? And let's go to Norfolk Island, shall we? Let's do our Norfolk Island correspondent, Megan. How are you? Good morning, my love.
Good morning. I'm particularly freezing today, and I'm looking forward to summer that doesn't actually start here until about January. But anyway, so today I'm working toward my research proposal for everybody's reading pleasure, of course. And I've been looking at peer-led lived experience programs and how they produce an evidence base for validity and funding. So just in this last half an hour, I've been looking at the juxtaposition with the mental health program that I'm studying against places like AA, TED, Pecha Kucha, because they're all actually peer-led lived experience programs that started from nothing, with nothing except the lived experience, and they were peer-led. So how did they become so successful, and what stops this other particular mental health program that I'm looking at?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's a huge thing, yeah.
It's a huge
and certainly throughout my career, I have facilitated so many programs that when you come to do your funding reports, if it's not evidence-based, you can't use it.
Yeah.
And of course, I was then able to come up with the evidence, but how do other people, how do they know what to do, how to collate evidence, how to show evidence? So I'm writing about that.
That's going to transform a whole series of community organisations, Megan. It's unbelievable.
I hope so. And even if the only outcome is that it gives them the confidence to start recording statistics, that's a win. Yeah.
It certainly is. Oh, that is unbelievable. Oh, Megan, was worth coming in. Well done, you. Thank you for everything. Should we go to the calming, magnificent presence of Louise? Louise, how are you, darling? What were you working on, Light in the Darkness?
Hello. Thanks. And hi, everyone. This is my first Write Club. So thanks for having me along. I have been planning on coming for weeks, but just haven't got here. And I can't believe how quickly that 29 minutes went, because I do struggle to find time to write. So that was a lovely experience, feeling like I could have just kept writing. I'm very early in my journey. I've literally pretty much just started my PhD part-time and part-time back at work and part-time with 2 young kids. So I was just writing, I was doing a couple of things. I was actually just writing in my startup setup document, Tara. Yeah. So I was just I was going to start at one point, but then ended up writing a bit more reflective around, again, why I'm doing this at this time in my life. And then I kind of switched, doing a little bit of old pen and paper stuff where I like to sort of visually see how things might work. I'm just still kind of really honing in on my research is looking at the antenatal detection of vulnerable mother-infant relationships as a broad topic, and I'm just really kind of still nutting out in these early stages where the sort of rabbit hole I'll really go down with that. So I'll just kind of been reading some papers and putting some stuff together and drawing some diagrams and seeing where I might fit.
Louise, that is just brilliant. How inspiring is that? And just to add a little bit of a Dean intervention in it, if you just have in your head the SOC, significant original contribution to knowledge, and just have those 4 words just floating, so that when you have your diagram, you might have a bit of your diagram that attaches to contribution and a bit of the diagram that attaches to knowledge, and then all of a sudden you go, wow, that's significant. So you are a spatial thinker. I saw that immediately. If we have the SOC there, you might be creating that beautiful diagram.
Yeah, great. Yeah, good idea.
Oh, you're the best. How happy are we to see Louise? My goodness me, Louise.
Thanks, I'm looking forward to coming back. Oh,
you're fantastic. And you're no pressure at all, but we love to see you. And if the kids are around, darling, not a worry. We have all sorts of fabulous people come through. You're a superstar. Speaking of superstars, should I go to my new friend, Susan? Susan, as you can see, we do a bit about what you were writing on. Do you want to share your fabulousness and what you were writing on for that half an hour?
Yeah, I put together a portfolio. It's a genealogical portfolio that has 6 parts to it. And part 3, I had to transcribe, abstract, come up with a document from the 1806. Then I had to come up with a series of research questions based on the document, and then address how I propose to answer the question, including the sources that I want to use, the repositories that have the sources, and so on and so forth. So I had chose a woman whose name was listed in this deed from 1806, because, a lot of times women aren't listed, whatever. And she's going to be my research question. So what I was doing was going through it and editing it, changing sections around and adding this and adding that, because I'm going to turn this in, the entire portfolio, next week.
This is just, did anybody get, when we were talking about 1806 and this remarkable named woman, did anybody else get just a bit sort of goosebumps there? I mean, that is powerful, engaging with that original document. Susan, that's incredible. Are we ever going to be able to see a version of it, or is it going to an organization?
Well, this particular document, you won't be able to see, but there are parts of the portfolio. One is a case study, which, genealogists have a specific definition of a case study.
Yes.
And then the other is it's a kinship determination project. And my goal is to have those published.
Oh, I'm so excited. I think a bit of my brain just sort of exploded against the wall, Susan. It's just unbelievable. That is phenomenal. Isn't it amazing to have this deep archival work back with us in the digital age and doing it differently, Susan? I'm just so thrilled. What a year 2023 has been. I've met all these amazing people, and then Susan is doing this to us. It's just phenomenal, Susan. Thank you for everything you're doing, my darling. Amazing.
Oh, and this is my first Writers Club visit.
Oh, we're so lucky to know you from New York. So, Damien, you haven't met the wonderful Susan. She's joining us from what would it be, Thursday night, New York. So we're thrilled to have you. Should we move to the other light in our lives, because we need to see your hair again? And Vita, so where were you now? Where were you? What were you writing on?
I started writing up that little bit about my data access issues that we discussed during digital officers.
I thought you might. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just all in there and I had to like start getting it down. But yeah, just wondering if I should, not really sure if I should be mentioning the exact whereabouts of the data set that I was trying to acquire, but I've kind of left it blank at the moment. I've just referred to it as the data.
You can, the issue is it publicly available in any form, Anvita?
No.
It's not. Is it recorded? Does the organization have any links to that some sort of data set exists?
Yeah, I think it's been like mentioned in published literature from the data custodian, who's a researcher as well. So
right. So what I do is in old history speak, we used to describe it as writing the footnotes. So the way to do it is if someone else has got a footnote or got a reference or it's there, write their footnote because it's in public and you're not doing anything ethically dodgy because you're actually writing their footnote and bringing it
all
home.
right. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're the best. Oh, I'm excited. Let's see where this goes in the next week. And look, wonderful. Yep. Joanna's in. Hello, Joanna. Are you okay? Do you want to just say hi to us?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Just like a few people here, this is also my first Write Club. A bit nervous because I'm doing my honors and I'm not a PhD student, so I'm very, very, very early in my research career.
We are thrilled to see you. And can anyone else imagine how exciting it would be to be in a room like this doing your honors? I was like alone, eating peanuts, drinking Diet Sprite, trying to discover my life when I was doing my honours degree and failing. So, darling, what's your honours on? What are you thinking the project will be?
So it actually switched. So last year I was contemplating doing an autoethnography, and then I switched. That was too personal for me, so I was like, I'm going to do something fun. So I'm doing a critique or an analysis of the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm looking at disorientation, failure, and the queer potential of the film.
Damien, we got a mate. This is so Joanna, Damien, Joanna, this is great sweetness. What a fantastic, I'm going to seek that information out and I'm so thrilled. So you just stay with us, darling. We will look after you. We will take you by the hand and walk with you. We are so excited. And Damien is this incredible expert and emerging expert on this area. So the idea that you two are in the same screen and vista is just breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. And look, I didn't quite get round to everybody, for which I apologise, but we will finish as we always finish. You know, she's our finisher, as I now describe her, Dina the finisher. Now, come on, Dina. Come on, Angel. Where are we at? Come on.
So I'm very happy for this week because I was stuck last 2 weeks. I did my coding, but because of a lot of the studies in grounded theory, their theory is very linear. So that's where I was stuck because the KSB, the village organization that I am examining, they are having this dynamic interaction between themselves, between the government, between the community with them. So my problem is that it's not always only condition, action, interaction, and then consequence, but it's more dynamic. It's like a going up, down, backwards, upwards. So I was stuck because a lot of example was linear, and then I decided to come back to the methodological theory, and the one that I'm doing is a Straussian approach. It has another explanation saying that there's also a process approach in doing this. And a process is where some people are adjusting their action and interaction against the consequence until the outcome is reached. And the word adjust was like a light bulb to me because that is what I was looking for. It explains what I'm doing. And I'm so happy because after that I could write like a few dots that I was not able to, because I know now what the organization is doing. They have been struggling, but they did a double loop learning where they understand that their problems, they have a solution, and then they have different approach to the problem. So I'm like, okay, now I know.
Dina, that is just amazing. And I tell you what, how inspirational is that, colleagues? We've worked with and walked with Dina for 2.5 months now. And she is the embodiment of, if you show up, you'll be successful. Dina shows up, she shows up every day, and she is successful. You are legendary, Dina. And as we look at the time, colleagues, I thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Ian, we love you. I've been thinking about you all week. I hope you are well, and we'll have a good proper chat with you next week, Ian. You are loved and cared for, mate. You are very, very special, and we're with you, all right? Colleagues, thank you for your time. Thank you to all our new Right Clubbers. And what's the first rule of Right Club?
Writing.
Right.
Thanks, Kylie. Right. That was a bit metal. Good on you, Kyles. Colleagues, have a lovely week. See you on the other side. Bless you. Good on you, Paul.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bless you.
See you
Sleep
all.
well, Paul.